Fantastic. Okay, let's go through the mini set. I don't know if you guys already have formed opinions on the mini set, but I haven't seen these cards yet. And they're gonna come out in 2 hours. So I'm gonna just watch over these things. I'm gonna give them a little look-see and see what we can find. So, we start out with Death Knight, which has a new weapon, 4 mana, 3/3, lifesteal, freeze any characters damaged by your hero. That's not a bad card. That's not a bad card at all. That it can swing 3 times is quite impactful. Keeps you alive for quite a while. That it freezes is also very good against Ignis or something. Like you can lock an opponent, like a Odin warrior that wants to hit with the 3/3 weapon that gives armor, or with an Ignis weapon or something, you can just lock them down completely. That's pretty good. I'm not sure if you would, in Highlander, you probably put one of these in your deck. In all the other decks, you probably just have it as an option to find. But I think that's a good card. It's a one-of in Highlander, I think. I don't think that's ever a two-of. Discover a beast and an undead. Swap their stats. And you can do some weird stuff with that. So you can make... Do you swap all the stats? So you get to play around with very cheap effects. Discover a beast and an undead. What are the beasts and the undead that you really want? So Thaddeus is an undead. There's a bunch of really cheap beasts. You could do it the other way around and get like... Hollow Hound is both, which is interesting for this card. You discover them. So you do have to high roll, but I'm not sure... Well, it is 3 mana, grab 2 cards, which is already reasonable. And you can high roll so much with that card. You can get a 1 mana Thaddeus, you can get a 1 mana Hollow Hound. You can get Reska, I guess. Yeah, I don't know about that card yet, but that might be a 2. You might play those cards. Because there's some high variance, but you do just drawing 2 minions is not terrible for 3 mana. I'm not sure about that card. That's a tough one to evaluate because the variance is too high. Probably you don't play that in a deck, but you don't mind getting that from somewhere. Next card, 6 mana, 4/6. Summon 2 random death metal minions that cost 3 or less. I don't think that's a playable card. I would play that in Kangor, but that is the wrong Death Knight and Hunter. So you could do some shenaniganry with getting the Death Rattle to stick on other minions too, and then going crazy with it. I think that's too much work. I think a 6 mana 4/6 is not particularly good enough, and you don't get to choose the Death Rattle minions either, so you just get random shit, and they're cheap. You could roll into the Emir 3/3 taunt minion that makes another 3/3 taunt with this guy, because that is that a 4 cost or a 3 cost minion? I don't even know. I don't know. I don't think this card is particularly amazing. You might be able to fidget around a deck with this. They've been trying to make Death Rattle an archetype forever. So maybe this makes it into a Death Rattle archetype. Prosthetic Hand, this is the card I've seen already. You can put this on a couple different things. It works on Hollow Hound, it works on Reska, it works on Syndragosa, of all things. Although Syndragosa doesn't have a rush or charge, so Syndragosa will have to just wait there. But she gets more arms if she dies. This can be put on the mechs in Paladin. There's a 1 mana mech that gives you back everything that gets magnetized to it. So this could go infinite with that. I think 3 mana is a bit of a reach with that, but maybe you can do like a mid-range mech Paladin now. I kind of like this card. Also, it's just in Death Knights. because it has Reborn, it's going to be worth 2 corpses. That's pretty good. So even as like a 3 mana 3/1 double bodies make 2 corpses, even that is not terrible. Reminds me of the 3 mana 3/1 from back in the day with Divine Shields. Yeah, this is for sure a one of if you're playing Highlander Death Knight that has Reska and Hollowhound. There's a deck that does that, and this will be a one of in that deck. Summon 2 1/1 Silverhand Recruits with Death Rattle. Summon a 1/1 Frail Ghoul. Yeah, it's just a good card. It's 2 mana. 2 mana is not really highly contested for any deck. I might play this in Gangor, because I have nothing to do on turn 2 most of the time. I might get rid of my Flash of Light for Mining Casualties, because it fills the board quite nicely with stuff. You can trade into stuff, you can keep board presence. Very good against Treants. Pretty good against Sif. Yeah, I think that's a solid card. I'm probably putting this card in my deck. This works amazingly well with like Crusader Aura nonsense or Deputization Aura or just making more corpses appear for the Go Wild with Corpses with Corpse Bride deck. I think this is the best card of the first couple. This card is good. This card is usable. This card is better. It's not flashy though, so people are just not going to think much of this card. But it's a 2 mana make 2 men who make 2 men. This is like Muster for Battle on steroids for 2 mana. It's good. It's very good. You play that card in a bunch of different decks. Fellfisher, deal 2 damage to all minions. At the start of your next turn, deal 2 more damage to all minions. That's not good. That's not good at all. It's good for Rainbow? This one, you mean? Yeah, I think the Mining Casualties is very, very good. It's the best card of all of these. Although this one is more interesting, this one is more interesting. This one is more consistent and is gonna poop all over Odin Warrior. They're gonna be very angry with that. This has more combo potential with Reska stealing the whole board. But this card is just going to be a mainstay in a bunch of different decks. Fellfisher, I think this is terrible. I think it's not good ever. What is your plan with this? This stopping Soul of the Forest? Well, what do you want to do with this card? It's a 4 mana Consecrate. Like, you want to Jotun this, so you cast it multiple times or something? Like, it auto-casts when you draw it, and then you play it again, and... I don't know. It looks like it does nothing. Did you play this in Highlander, Demon Hunter? Maybe. In Highlander, you just want to affect the boards. Maybe you play one of these in Highlander. It does affect the board. I can't see it though. I think this is not the good card. If you play one of these, you're not super happy about it. So thumbs down. Burning Heart. Deal 2 damage to a minion. If it survives, give your hero +3 attack this turn. Don't think it's impactful enough. It is 1 mana though. It is 1 mana, potentially kill 2 things if the breakpoints are right for you. I just don't know if a 1 mana card can see play, because most of the warrior things are super control heavy now, with Odin or taunt stuff, or... In Highlander you play one of these because you're looking for playables. In Demon Hunter I have no idea, there's not really anything that works in Demon Hunter right now. The +3 attack might actually be very good for Demon Hunter because I have a bunch of different shenaniganry with that. Like +2 attack, deal damage to everything with this card or something. Make your guy immune. I'm not, yeah, it's a card, it exists. Choose a damaged minion, summon a copy of it that goes dormant for 1 turn. Whoa. That's an explosive ability. That's crazy. You can do that on so many things. Warrior Demon Hunter. And you use that on like Amethyst, any Titan, any Colossal. Damn. I think this is a really spooky card, but it has to be played in control because you're really waiting for the turn where this can actually eat something that is sick. You want this to be like a Yogg-Saron or something. This has to be impactful, but this effect is crazy. So this might push Highlander, Warrior, and Demon Hunter to be even stronger because this is definitely an effect. Oh boy. Rush Battlefield, Battlecry, take your weapon and gain its stats. Rush Battlecry, take your weapon, take its stats for 1. And then give it back. Does it also use the effect of the weapon or just the stats? Take your weapon and gain its stats. It doesn't say gain the text. So I don't think it gains the text. I think this card would be absolutely insane. It would be like a 5-star out of 5 card if it actually took the text as well. Because you can do some shenaniganry with that. But only taking the stats, then it's just a rush minion. It's essentially a kill spell for 1 mana that has to deal with taunts. Yeah, I'm not excited about this card. But it's a cool design. I like the design. I'm not sure if it takes the text, then I'm really scared of this card already. And then you have a weapon, 2 mana, 1/2, draw cards. This is also in both Rogue and Demon Hunter. I don't think those classes care that much about drawing cards right now. They're both so good at drawing cards that I think this quick pick is not going to make it into anything. It does draw 2 cards, but won't you just play like a gold panner instead, or anything really? Unless this card can eat that and then draw more cards, it replaces itself while it's trading with the board efficiently. I don't know. I don't know how this card's gonna work. Gain 3 empty mana crystals. Any that can't fit, summon a 3/7 element. Oh! Holy shit! Oh. Oh no. Oh dear. Okay, I can see this card being a staple. It's a more efficient nourish that costs 1 more, and instead of giving you like essentially no value on turn 10 with the nourish, because it just gives you 2 more mana crystals to use, but it costs a bunch of mana. This thing actually produces a board, like a tough to remove board. I think this card is exceptionally filthy, and I think it's gonna see play in every deck. Oh, I'm scared of this card. I hope it's not good enough, but this, oh my goodness gracious. It's you like innervate, double innervate turn 4 this card, so you can gain 3 mana crystals is nuts. The sooner you can put this card out, the better, with empty mana crystals, and then on like turn 7 and 8 it's a bad card all of a sudden because you don't want 1 taunt minion plus filling out. I think. Maybe. And then on turn 10 it's just absolutely busted broken again because it's 6 mana, fill the board with nonsense, and you can do 4 mana something else. You can use 4 mana on a Ray Straza card or something. This is bonkers. I think this is the strongest card I've seen so far. Well, that card scares me. This card is very strong. But no way. Oh, I'm not happy with this one. Yeah, it's gonna be some shenaniganry with Splish Splash Whelp. Get this out on turn 4 or 5. And then they have 10 mana to work with, while you have 4 or 5 mana to work with. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic, I love this game. Discover a minion from your deck. Gain armor equal to its cost. Yeah. Solid card. Solid card. You can find another Raystraza. You can find another Amanthul. Yeah, solid cards. I think you play one copy of this in priests. I'm not sure about druids. You can find dragon golem. Damn, dude. I think this is a really good card too. You do have to pay mana. The 3 mana do nothing, but gain 3 mana, gain armor in the Anubarak. There's an Anubarak strategy right now in Druid that this thing fits into so snugly. Like you play one of these, no shot you don't. You can pendant find your Anubarak or Anubrakon or whatever the guy's called. Yeah, this card is very very good as well. I think. I don't like it. All these druid cards, man. Choose a minion, add a copy of it to your hands. Choose a minion, add a copy to your hand, deck, and battlefield. I think for 5 mana that's too expensive. It's a 5 mana do nothing. No, you add it to the battlefield. Never mind, never mind. The one of them goes battlefield, one of them goes hand. That's also a good card. Shit. I don't want to play against Priest and Druid. You can pick something enormous with this. Just pick a 9 cost or a 10 cost minion and put this on the field and your hand and your deck. Amanthul comes to mind. What else? You can steal your opponent's stuff too. People can steal my Anoia troop. People can steal my Amatus. People can steal my Amatus, use the Amatus ability, have an Amatus in hand to play, to draw 2 cards from their deck that don't cost 2. Play Amanthul and Ra then in the same turn that cost nothing. I don't want this mini set anymore. Yeah, A&R, refresh, copy A&R, refresh. Oh, I didn't even think about A&R. A&R, refresh. If you copy A&R after the refresh, can she still refresh? Or does she lose that bubble? Because even if she loses that bubble, you do make an enormous field doing this. But if you can go infinite with A&R, that would be so stupid. I don't think you can, though. I think you copy with her having used the refresh already. So it's the first one, you play A&R, you refresh, you copy A&R with this, and then the second A&R has to do one of the other 2 abilities. Yeah. This card is disgusting, I don't like it. Get it away from me. 4 mana, 6/8. Taunt, choose one. Discard 2 cards. Or destroy one of your mana crystals. Forge, neither. I don't think that sees play. You don't use that for the Forge ever, I don't think, unless you want to activate Ignis. Because a 6 mana 6/8 taunt is just terrible. That's just disgustingly bad. You can't play that. That would have been probably a bad card 10 years ago. It's Boulder Fist Ogre. Yeah, I don't see this card seeing play. Discard 2 cards, so you could like sludge stuff with it. Destroy your mana crystals sounds awful as well. You would have to find a way to get value from either of those 2 that's actually very significant. So you need really good cards to get discarded that have discard value. And the mana crystals I can't even think about. No, just no bad card. I can't see it. They would have to print. They would have to print like a card that says, if you discard me, you win the game or something to make this worth it. If you discard me, make a 10/10 appear on the field or something. I don't know. Okay, next card. 3 mana, 3/2. Finale. Deal 1 damage to the random enemy for each of your mana crystals. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. You wipe the board somehow, and then you go 11 damage to face with the audio amplifier. 11 face damage for 3 mana if it's an empty board. This might be the strongest card I've seen so far. I think this card is stronger than Shattered Reflections. Wow. This card is so difficult to judge. This card could go infinite with a bunch of different things too, which is just filthy. And then this cluster seems filthy. And this thing seems pretty strong. Okay, let's give the cards that I think are actually amazing, like a rating. Mining Casualties. I'm not sure if it's a 5 out of 5, but it probably should be. This card is gonna see play in everything. In a lot of, like in Pure Paladin you play this. In Mech Paladin you play this. In Earthen you might play this. In my Kangor Big Paladin list I'm going to play this. In like Highlander, Rainbow, Death Knight you play this for the extra corpses. Yeah, let's give this a 5 out of 5. Mining Casualties, 5 out of 5. Crimson Expanse, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I'm scared of it. Crystal Cluster, 5 out of 5. Very powerful. Shattered Reflections, 4 out of 5. You have to wait until there's a minion on board or until you can play your own sick minions. But if A&R survives on the board, if Anubra Khan survives on the board, that card just breaks the whole game immediately. Let's give this a 5 out of 5 because of Titans, Colossals, and all that nonsense. This card sucks, and this card also a 5 out of 5. Trog Gem Tosser. This card is going to. It's gonna give a couple decks so much reach that shouldn't deserve reach. Like Druid having Forbidden Fruit is already a little bit annoying with the amount of reach they can generate, but man, that is some reach right there. 3 mana, deal 10 to enemy portrait, maybe even 11 with that amplifier. 5 out of 5 cards, I don't want to play against it. Shimmer Shot. Deal 1 damage, summon a random minion of that cost. So, okay. So spell damage makes the damage go up, and it makes the minion bigger. How much spell damage can you afford? There's the +2 spell damage minion neutral one that a lot of people play. There is the legendary in Hunter that makes everything +2 arcane-wise in your deck, I think, or that you're ever gonna play. There has to be some other stuff that you can do. But let's say this always does 5 damage. One mana, deal 5 damage, make a random 5 drop. How excited are you about that? How great is that? Random 5 drops are not amazingly impactful unless they go into your hand, because most of them have decent battle cries. It's good stats. One mana, kill a minion, get a stat stick. It might bring back Arcane Hunter, but I don't think so. It's very nice for 1 mana, but it's not like a massively impactful card. It's just mana efficient, and I don't think Arcane Hunter really wants mana efficiency. You can just do 5 damage to the enemy portrait, make a man again on the field. Maybe if you are really rushdown, like a very aggro heavy style, or you go the full control route, where you can really fidget around making your spell damage higher. I think Shimmer Shot's not a great card. I think it's too much work. I think it's just a little bit too much work for this card. 3 mana. Summon a random elemental companion. Oh, cute. New companions. Ah, right. So we have a couple different companions that can become. Can be targeted by spells or hero powers. Not exciting at all. Your spells cost 1 less. Pretty exciting. Spell damage +2. Really exciting. If you could choose the one that you get, if it wasn't random, this card would be absolutely bonkers. It would be so good. If it's like pick one of the elemental companions, this card would see play in in everything that it's allowed to be played into. But it has variance on it, so you could just low roll and get the thing that you don't want. But you have 2 out of 3 chance that it becomes a pretty useful creature. Uh, yeah. Yeah. I don't think you run that main board, just because of variance. But you can find it from somewhere and be happy about it. 5 mana, 5/5. Cost 1 less for each spell you've cast while holding this. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So 0 mana, 5/5. With some work. It has to be in your hand for a while. While holding this. I don't think you want to play that man in any of the current decks. Because Sif doesn't really... Well, this is like a... It's like a late game Sif strategy right now that might want the Mantle Shapers just to fill the board, but I don't think you care. They need to have Taunt or Rush before you care. This is just a stat stick. I think it's a bad card. Mantle Shaper, yeah. Yeah, I think it's not good enough. The 0 mana 5/5 with no Rush, no Taunt. Not impactful enough as a card. 3 mana, Mismatched Fossils. Discover a beast and summon... discover a beast and an undead swap their stats. Didn't we see this card already? Yeah, we saw this card already. Okay, we don't have to talk about this one. We've seen these already. I don't think any of them is particularly amazing. I think the Taunt one might see play if you have like Death Rattle synergy. Like Obsidian Servant with in Death Knight with the prosthetic hand, so you get more. Yeah, like these two together is it's something. Yeah, this man might see play. Yeah. Not super excited for either of them. Summoning Ward. Secret. When your turn starts, summon a copy of your highest cost minion. Terrible. Really, really, really bad. What 1 star? 1 star. Well, you put a Mage Secret... You put a Mage Secret down, so people are going to be scared to play into Objection and Counterspell. That's the best part about this card. You scare people by putting a Mage Spell on the field. That is the strongest text on this card. How are you supposed to high roll with this? People are always going to kill your stuff. So the way you high roll with that is if you get something to be dormant. So the dormant one, your dormant minion gets copied. So like Summoning Ward plus whatever that thing was. Summoning Ward plus Crimson Expanse. Make it dormant for 1 turn, then it becomes an extra dormant on the start of your turn. They both pop, I think. That sounds kind of disgusting. They're in different classes, so you can't put them in the same deck, but you can discover stuff. That sounds disgusting. That sounds disgusting. But you would have to make something dormant to make it survive. I don't know. It seems very bad. If you can get something to be dormant to actually protect it, so it stays around on your side, and then you can like do it on Narganon and just hit your opponent's face for 1,000,000. Yeah, yeah. If this card is ever good, it is kind of degenerate, and it should not be in the game. And I think it's not going to be ever good, but there might be something there. 6 mana, deal 6 damage. Summon a random 6 cost minion. Destroy the bottom 6 cards of your deck. Deal 6, make a 6-man. It's like there's a 6 mana 6/6 dragon in the game right now. The tradable one. It's kind of like this. Kind of. It's a man that deals 6 damage, makes a man. Destroy the bottom 6. If you really need to destroy the bottom 6 cards of your deck, I think there's better ways to do it than this. But maybe this becomes the standard way to get rid of sludge on the bottom instead of steam cleaner. Maybe this replaces steam cleaner in the really aggressive warlock sludge. You can play it there for sure. Yeah, it is. You can hit face with it. I mean, that's significant. You can deal 6 damage to portrait. That 6 cost minion is probably not gonna matter. And then destroy the 6 bottom costs. If you have the bottom of your deck filled with sludges, then it's going to do ridiculous damage to board or face. Like on an empty board, that's death immediately. I think Chaos Creation sees play, but only in that deck. Only in the aggressive version of sludge. But you probably play that instead of Steam Cleaner. Because Steam Cleaner is not going to matter. Because the matches are so fast. Like on turn 6 you want to win. On turn 6 the match has to be over. So 6 damage to face. Remove all my sludge. All the sludge goes face. That's the dealio. Soul Freeze. 1 mana. Freeze a minion and its neighbors. Deal damage to your hero equal to the number frozen. Solid card. You can stall for Sith Mage. I'm not sure if you put these in your deck directly, but you might. It has a frost tag on it, so you can remove. You can do this instead of having Solid Alibi or Cold Case, just to stall for more turns with this. It's quite powerful, quite strong. I think you play this in Mage and not in Warlock. You might play this in Warlock if you have an OTK strategy, like the Thaddeus OTK Sludge, so you can just stall longer against aggro. You need to do something in that deck. It's a powerful card. I can see this being run by a couple different decks. I'm not sure if there's space for a Soul Freeze, but stalling out the board with freezes is just so good that this probably sees play. 1 mana is so efficient for 3 freezes. You would have to start thinking about where you put stuff on the board because this card exists. Because if they don't main deck it, then they're going to find it some other way. Discover it, randomly generate it. We've seen these 2 cards. We can go on. We've seen all those cards too. A legendary. Sir Finley the Intrepid. 3 mana, 2/3. It's bad stats, but that doesn't particularly matter maybe. Battle Cry. If you have excavated twice, transform all enemy minions into 1/1 Murlocs. It doesn't matter. That ability is very, very powerful. I'm going to lose to that card a lot, I think. If that card becomes a staple, then I'll lose to it. Because I need Death Rattles to trigger, and this destroys Death Rattles. It's get rid of Titans, Colossals, everything becomes Murlocs. For 3 mana. 3 mana. Very powerful card. Sir Finley is bonkers. That is a 5 out of 5 cards. If this sees play, it's super impactful. Next card. 4 mana, 3/4. Fossilized Kaleidosaur. I remember Kaleidosaur. That's the quest from long ago, right? I remember that card. I tried to make that work in Standard. It never worked. Really. Gain 2 random bonus effects. Excavated Treasure. Yeah. Yeah, it's a card. It's an Excavate Treasure. You probably play this. You probably play 2 of these. Just because it excavates. It's not particularly amazing. Gain 2 random bonus effects. What would you want to get? Reborn Lifesteal? Rush Reborn? Something like that. Rush Reborn sounds pretty good. Then it's 4, deal 6 to board. Give a minion Wind Fury and Divine Shield, Excavated Treasure. Disgusting effect. I think it's not a fantastic card because it costs 3. It's going to be stuck in your hand the whole game. But giving something explosive, Wind Fury, Divine Shield, ugh. Put this on a prosthetic hand with the Reborn with it. I don't know. Wind Fury, Divine Shield is a good combination of things to give something. Just go face for a lot. It's gonna make the lethality of Shaman and Paladin a lot higher. If you leave something on the board, like even if you leave a 3/3 on the board, that's 6 damage to face already. If you leave a large man on the board, like a, I don't know, what do those decks typically run as a large man? I don't even really know. Tumbleweed. If you leave a Tumbleweed on the field, 12 damage to face. Yeah, I don't like the design of this card because most of the time this card is going to do absolutely nothing. You just play it early to get your excavate over, done. So usually it does nothing, and then sometimes it just immediately wins you the game. Lovely. 4 mana 5/5. The Azerite Dragon. That is the legendary activate for Paladin. Give all other minions in your hand, deck, and battlefield +3/+3. That is a lot of stats. That is a lot of stats. This is gonna be a deck. There's gonna be an excavate deck where you actually do play these and these. Because Shroomscavate becomes a lot better because of all the stats being so high. So anything surviving is a 4/4. Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be a deck. It's gonna be pretty good. If you're able to pull back the Azerite Dragon and just play it again. Is the mini set out? The mini set's gonna be out in 90 minutes. Vi, it's gonna be there soon. I'm looking through the cards before it comes out. Give me 1 second. I'm looking through it. Azerite Dragon seems like a perfectly fine reward. This is pretty powerful. It is hand, deck, and battlefield, so it buffs the field immediately. So it's instantly impactful. If you leave anything on the board, like muster for battle plus this thing on like a turn 7, muster for battle plus this, full board of 4/4s, pretty damn good. This card is great, very strong. 5/5? I don't know. It's better than Ox. It's very different than Scorpion. It has much lower variance. Scorpion could just brick, give you 4 spells that do nothing. This thing is always going to be impactful. I think this is stronger than Scorpion. Glowstone Gyre Worm. It's a Phyrexian. What is that magic card called again? There was like this big worm in Magic that kind of looked like that. That was a much bigger minion though. 4 mana 4/4 lifesteal, quick draw, deal 5 damage, forge, change quick draw to battle cry. That is good numbers. This is better than the 6 mana 6/6 Sunspot Dragon. But it doesn't have tradable on it. That's the huge deal. It doesn't have tradable on it. And there's not really a home for this, because Priest has no mid-range deck. Do you put this in Highlander Priest? It does say Forge on it, so you can activate Ignis. I'm not excited about this card. It is good numbers. 4 mana 4/4 deal 5 lifesteal. Pretty damn good as a mid-range card. I'm not sure if this sees play, because there's no real home for it, I think. Return an enemy minion to your hands. Oh, it's a dual class? Oh god. Oh god. So the Scorpion can make this? Oh well. Yeah. Anyone has a challenge a friend quest? I used my one today. Can't wait for Druid to use Shadow Reflections on Dragon Golem. Yeah, I think Shadow Reflections on Dragon Golem is not the best target though, because it only puts one of them on the field. But it's still, yeah, you get one more in your hand, so you can do that turn again. But you can do this on ANR. Or a Nubricon, or something. I don't know. Just target something and win the game. Return an enemy minion to your hands. Yeah. I don't think that card's good enough to ever run main boards, Shadow Word Steel, because it's so mana inefficient. 5 mana, and then you have to cast the thing you stole. I don't think you want to run that card main board, but priests are priests. They're gonna find a way, and it's not gonna be fun to play against. 2 mana 2/2 stealth. At the end of your turn, restore 2 health to all friendly characters. Very efficient card. Hidden Gem is very efficient. You put this in the overheal deck, right? You don't overdraw that easily, even with both the clergy out. Like turn 1, clergy with a coin. Turn 2, Hidden Gem. Turn 3, profit. Turn 4, win the game. Hidden Gem is good. That's a very good card that sees play. I don't think it sees play in Rogue, but it might. Rogue has no things to be doing with friendly characters being healed, but it's so efficient that it might see play there too. I don't think so though. 1 mana Fool's Gold. Get a random golden pirate and elemental from other classes. Random golden pirate and elemental from other classes. Pirates from other classes. Are there a lot of pirates in the game at all anyways? I don't think so. There's a couple of really good ones, like the Sword Eater guy is pretty good. But the variance on this is going to be very high. There's a couple of really powerful elementals. But you get random ones. I think Fool's Gold is not a particularly good card because it says random. If this was Discover, you would play 2 of them in all decks. It's a very it's a very big distinction though, Discover and random. Yeah, it's 1 mana, draw 2 cards that might be playable, that might be very impactful. You could get Hook Fist. Oh, that exists. Yeah, that card exists. That's kind of funny. Yeah, Hook Fist exists, but it's high variance. This card's not gonna be good enough because the random says it says random. It says random on it. It's not good. Digging Straight Down. Deal 8 damage to a minion. That's a lot of damage. Excavated Treasure. Yeah, it's your Excavate card. At least the Excavate card is not particularly powerful. It has a lot of reach, but it costs 4 mana. That's a highly contested turn, typically. You can't play this in the same turn as other things. It's a pretty bad card, but it excavates, so you play them if you want to excavate. At least it's a bad card, so it's not going to impact anything too heavily. Especially not on turn 4. Like on turn 4, no minion has 8 health, so it's just a this shoots like a 6/5 dragon. Like a flower child. Sunflower child. Something along those lines. Yeah. Okay. 4 mana. Aftershocks. Deal 1 damage to all minions 3 times. Costs 2 less if you cast a spell last turn. Oh. Oh dear. Deal 1 damage to all minions 3 times. Oh dear. That is a very good card. Two mana, 3 to board separated. It's the separation that makes it like even better. So you shoot once, you trigger death rattles, you do it again. Damn, you break divine shields with the first trigger, and then you keep going. You pop reborns, you pop divine shields, you pop death rattles. Yeah, Aftershocks is crazy good. 5 out of 5. Play 2 of. Maybe you even play 2 of if you're playing a Reno deck. Maybe it's that good. Just put duplicates in your deck if you're Reno. Aftershocks is nuts. It's so efficient. My Annoyatrons are not gonna be happy. 2 mana, 2 mana, 0/2. At the end of your turn, gain 2 armor and draw a card. It's that's better than Gold Banner. You play one of those in Highlander for sure, because it draws a card and gives you armor. Power creep Manatide Totem. A Manatide Totem is a 0/3. It's not. Manatide Totem has a bigger butt. We care about butts here, Vi. At the end of your turn, gain 2 armor and draw a card. It's a very good card. It's really really good. It's really good. Yeah, that's a good totem. You put that in everything, at least one of in Highlander. You put 2 of them in a totem shaman if that's still a thing. A good, yeah, it's good. Good, it's good. Hey, it's the reward for shaman. 4 mana, 5/5. Battle cry. Transform all your other minions into ones that cost 3 more, keeping their original costs. What? Great Blessed Boal. Transform all. What does all mean? Are they printing it as saying all because there's so much text on the card that fitting deck, battlefield, and hands just wouldn't fit? Would be too much text? Is that the reason they'd say all? Or is this going to be like you play Pack the House and it's going to be a bunch of enormous men because that's also minions that are yours. So all minions, even the ones that you generate. Like you Totemic Mastery for 1 mana infused. You make 4 totems, but the totems are now 3 cost higher. So you make like a full board of 4 cost minions because it's all. Is the because that is super powerful if that's the case. If you generate minions onto the field that are 3 cost higher, yikes, man. That would be sick, but I don't think that's the case. I think all just means deck, battlefield, and hand. I don't think it means future minions or something. But that's worded so strangely that I don't know for sure. If you can generate minions like the Totemic Mastery that become bigger, then this card is very good. And this card is very very good. If it's just turn your deck into some unplayable garbage that's a lot more expensive. Well, it's very cheap, highly statted garbage. Then this card is very bad. It does trigger the battle cries of stuff. It's like Stars Align. And Stars Align has high variance, but Stars Align is actually a powerful card. This is a 4 mana 5/5 Stars Align. Probably. I don't think future minions are going to be affected. I don't know what to I don't know what to think about that one. If you have ways to draw a lot of cards, then this card might be good. If you have your hand full of like 1 cost things, like how would you do that? You on turn 9, you have your hand completely emptied. You have nothing in your hands. You play Yogg-Saron. You make tentacles. Then you play Azerite Murloc to turn all the tentacles, like a full hand of 1 cost 4 mana things that still have their battle cries to activate. I don't know how you would get there. Maybe the stats are just going to be enough to pull this over the top. But it's so high variance that I'm not sure. It's a weird card. I can see though. I'm gonna cook with this card if this card actually all the future minions like you produce minions that are 3 cost higher as well, like Pack the House and Totemic Mastery, then this card is cooking. Then you're just going just going nuts with it. Primordial waving that board's gonna be so silly as well. I don't know about it. Yeah, I'm excited for this card, but I think it's trash. But we'll find out. We'll find out. There's definitely some stuff happening. It's all future means, like in the next match too. Yeah, yeah. You play Azerite Murloc, and then the next match you play, everything is already larger. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That would be a thing. We've already seen all of these. Deep Miner Bran. Battlecry. If your deck has no duplicates, your Battlecry is triggered twice for the rest of the game. 6 mana 2/4. Stat line is horrendous. So you don't even care about the stat line, it's just putting a very small man on the field. Brand's effect. Yeah, 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 yeah. School teacher still a thing. Astalor is played everywhere. What are you gonna copy? Queen Azara. Uh, yeah. The effect is disgusting. Creating four nuggling effects. It's pretty disgusting, and it's school teachers 4 mana. So you would keep Deep Miner Bran in your hands the whole time, the whole match, until you go to 10 mana, and then you want to Bran into school teacher on the same turn. It's not going to be an amazingly impactful turn because you just put a bunch of empty stats on the field on turn 10. But your next turns are going to be ridiculous. Uh, yeah, I don't know about Deep Miner Bran. It doesn't work with Odin. But even if it would work with Odin, I wouldn't be too scared about it because they would have to go 6 mana 2/4 empty turn into 8 mana 8/8 empty turn. Yeah. Yeah, Deep Miner Bran is a card. It exists. It works with Odin. No, it doesn't work with Odin. Vi. It doesn't trigger Odin. They changed Odin, I think, early December. Odin is not working with duplicate Odins anymore. Odining again doesn't do it. So Deep Miner Bran not going to affect Odin. Um, Deep Miner Bran, yeah, it's on surface level it's not a good card at all, but the effect is good. You should almost see this as like a 6 mana spell because you don't even the stats you gain from it are so empty. 2/4 on the field is nothing. Also, it's pretty dangerous if you're playing against a Highlander deck that just manages to copy this, because your opponent's deck could also be a lot of death, like battle cries that do crazy shit. Yeah, small Ostalor becoming 4 large Ostalors, or even more, right? No, no, no. No, it's 4. Small Ostalor makes 2 of the 5/5s, and then the 2 5/5s make double the 8/8s, and then those battle cries. That's not a battle cry though. That's a mana. That's a mana thirst thing. So you don't do 28. You do 14 still with the big Astalor, but you have your whole hand filled with them. Yeah, Bran is a good card. I think that sees play somewhere. It has to be a Highlander warrior, but I think you could make Bran work. It's a lot of shuffling though, because it's a if you just play this on turn 6, that's such a bad turn 6. There has to be an empty board on turn 6 or something, or a really underwhelming board on turn 6. Like your opponent just plays Doc Holiday and then you play Bran, like some empty stuff. But yeah, yeah. I mean, if Bran becomes a thing and the whole deck's filled with battle cries, then they can generate some value. That is for sure. It's gonna be interesting to see Bran in action. I'm not too worried about it, but I think it's gonna see play and it's gonna be okay. Neutral cards, 7 mana, 5/6 battle cry. If your deck has no duplicates, discover an elemental to summon. Add the others to your hand. Huh. So you get to see 3 random elementals. And these are all elementals, by the way, next to him. So plonking Neptulon onto the field, that sounds pretty good. Plonking Ragnaros, Therazane, those could be in there. Discover an element to summon, the other ones go to your hand. I don't think this is a particularly powerful effect though. For 7 mana, you just make an extra dude. The variance is very high. You have to find one of the really, really good ones. If there's just 3 elementals, like three cost elementals, then this card is kind of busted. There's just nothing. 1 hour left. Correct. We're getting there. The mini set's arriving soon. Yeah. Marut, Stonebinder. I don't think it's good. It's also no duplicates. It has like a high requirement. You can't jam this into your play all the elementals and Scar deck. Because then it would be pretty good. If you just play this on turn 8 in a Scar deck, and then you have a 1 mana elemental next to it to not break your elemental chain, then this card would be sick, but you can't do that because no duplicates. So I don't know about Marut. I don't think it has a home. I don't think it's particularly good. It's gonna make Wishing Well a little bit worse that that guy exists. Therazane, 7 mana, 7/5, Taunt, Death Rattle, double the stats of all your elementals in hand and deck. It doesn't hit the battlefield, so it's not a very good card. The stats are horrendous, 7, 7, 5. It has Taunt, so it does protect your face ever so slightly. Double the stats of all elementals in your hand and deck. So you have to be full-on elemental to get value from this card. If you just have like 3 elementals in your deck, then it doesn't matter. Is you're gonna pump Neptulon to be a 14/14? I don't know. You could do that. Ragnaros doesn't even want a buff because it just shoots face. Yeah, Therazane. You copy the Death Rattle, like the Death Knight card that copies it. Just make 3 men have this, so your Neptulon is going to be humongous. You said humongous. I think Therazane is a bad card, and I can't see it being worked around. I think it's too much mana for not enough effects. If you manage to trigger like on turn 10, you do Therazane the whole spiel. Do it 3 times, and then all the stuff in your deck is enormous. Maybe? I don't think that's worth it though. 3 mana, 4/3, Death Rattle. Give each of your minions a random bonus effect. Oh, it's like what was that mech called again from the original set? But that was a Battle Cry though, not a Death Rattle. And that card was not ridiculously amazing either. And this card is worse. It's Death Rattle. Stormcoil? No? I can't remember the name of the old card. I think mech didn't even used to be, was it 3/2? Yeah, I think so. It was a 3/2 for 4 mana that just made random effects appear on all your other stuff. Which was an okay card to run one of back in Classic. Back in Naxxramas or something. People played that card, one of. It did something. It was not horrendous. But this card is 3 mana, 4/3, Death Rattle with that effect. That's very bad. Unless you can instantly activate the Death Rattle on a completely filled board. So you play a 3 mana card, plus the thing that activates a Death Rattle. I'm not even sure if that's a Hunter card or a Death Rattle card. So that everything on the field gets bonus effects, some of which are not even particularly good. But you do have to trigger the effect immediately when you play this worm. So you play this worm on a full board. There's 6 minions on board. You play this worm. You play the card on this worm that makes the death rattle instantly trigger. Which I think that costs cards, what, 1 cost? 2 cost? I don't know. Then you make this work. So it has to be a combo actually. This is not just a 1 card that actually does something. You have to combo this. So I don't see it working. This might be a good rogue card with Shambler in like an aggro deck. You could Shambler this out, but you have to fill the board, and Rogue is not particularly good at filling the board with stuff. There's not really cards in Rogue that produce men. There's no Muster for Battle, there's no whatever the new card is called. Mining Casualties. You need stuff like that to make this card good. I don't think this card sees play. The effect is fun though. I used to like the card in Classic that did this with a Battlecry. If you played an Elemental last turn, draw a card. This is a good card, sees play for sure. 2 mana, 3/2 is good stats. Drawing a card is very good. In Elemental decks, this sees play. Solid, good. Fantastic. It's a spider with only 4 legs, so it's not a spider. Blizzards! Stone Drake, 6 mana, 2/8. Divine Shield, Taunt, Lifesteal, can't be targeted. It's a very sticky Drake. Very sticky Drake. You can see all the pink sticky on him. Don't know what that is. Gems or something? Yeah. Yeah, it's a guy. 6 mana, 2/8. That's not particularly good stats, but he has all the keywords. Particularly when minions have all the keywords, but pretty poor stats, they are not good. This one does have a very good spread of them, though. He has Divine Shield, Taunt, Lifesteal, and can't be targeted by spells and hero powers. That entire combo does make it a playable card. It's not awful, but I don't think you want to run this main deck. I think it's a really nice thing to discover for Raystraza, for the Raystraza egg. I don't think you see this main board. 6 mana is just a lot. You can do some very, very unfair things for 6 mana. Like Dragon Golem is not much more expensive. Anubricon, the new spell that costs 5 that produces some stuff. The 6 mana slot for Druid is going to be very filled anyways because of the 6 mana make 3 mana crystals. I don't think Stone Drake's good enough to run in any deck. Even in the Elemental deck, I'm not sure if that's good enough. In the Dragons, you don't run this. That's what I think. New Excavate cards, yay! There's a new 1, new 2, and a new 3. The 1 is give a friendly minion +2/+2, deal 2 damage to a random enemy minion. It's efficient. It makes me have less coins for the Wishing Well, which I'm not super happy about because I'm already struggling to do that. It's an efficient card. I don't like it. Is my verdict. I want more pouch of coins or whatever that's called. 2 mana, 1/2. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to all enemies. I think it's very efficient against Treants. That's a pretty painful thing to be doing against Treants. 2 damage to all enemies, and it affects at the end of turn. It's very good. It takes the spot of a canary, so I like this card a lot. I like this card a lot. This is great. Thank you, Blizzards. No more canaries for me, please. World Pillar Fragments. 3 mana. Discover an elemental to summon. Add the others to your hand. Oh wait. It's the same. It's the same effect. We just read this without the restriction and without the stupid stat stick on it. Discover an element to summon. Add the others to your hand. Is this a neutral? Oh wait, this is an excavate. Okay, so this takes the space of Collapse and Ogre Fist Boulder. And what is the other 3? Oh, just make a 5 cost? This is better than making a 5 cost. That's for sure. It's draw two playable cards most likely and put something large on the field. Uh, World Pillar Fragment is just better than Azerite Gem, I think. Oh, the Modelo Dragon, yeah, and the 3/7 with taunt, yeah, yeah. 3/7 with taunt is a really nice card though. And so is the Modelo Drake. Yeah, yeah. World Pillar. It does produce stats on board, that's for sure. Like in a selection of 3 random elementals, I feel like you typically get at least 4/4 in stats. Might not be as good as a 5 cost, but you can high roll this into just winning the game, right? You can high roll this into Neptulon and win the game. You can you can high roll this into Therazane because Therazane has taunt and then affects the cards you produce with this in your hand. So your selection is uh, what would it even be? Your selection would be Therazane, Neptulon, and Stone Drake. I don't know. And yeah, and you just go nuts. Your selection is going to be Therazane, Therazane, and Therazane, and you choose to put Therazane on the field. You have 2 Therazanes in your hands. If Therazane pops, both your other Therazanes are 10 health now. Put another Therazane on. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, you can't discover Colossals, so you're not allowed to discover Colossals. Okay, well my three Therazane plan. I'm assuming you're not allowed to discover the same stuff twice. It has to be different ones, right? It can't be triple Terrazane. You can discover yeah, okay. No Colossals, no Titans. Fine, fine. I'll I'll come back out of Magical Christmas Land. Um, I don't think World Pillar is a bad card. I don't think it's a particularly good card either. You can still high roll some stuff with it, like Therazane and 2 affordable stuff in your hands is still very good. If you find Therazane with World Pillar, you're pretty happy about it because you actually fill your hand with elementals doing this by itself. So that's good. That's a combo in and of itself. There's no other new elementals, right? Oh, there is a couple. We didn't even talk about this card yet, did we? There's one card we didn't talk about at all. Elementium Geode. 2 mana, 2/1. Battlecry and Death Rattle, draw a card, deal 2 damage to your hero. It's also a good card. It's better than clicking your hero power, that's for sure. It draws 2 and it deals a bunch of damage to your face. This is a good card. You this play. Elementium Geode doesn't auto-include. This, yeah, I mean, 2 mana, draw 2 cards. It doesn't even matter that it hits your face at that point. It can trade into stuff. It has a stat line for 2 mana while drawing you cards. It's very, very good. Elementium Geode is very good. And I actually didn't even see the card earlier, so maybe I missed another card. Hidden Gem, we found that one. Man, that is as the last card. That's really good. There's a bunch of 2 mana things that are actually super powerful. You know, like Mining Casualty is very good cards. The Hidden Gem is a very good card. In one particular deck, but it's a very good card. The Geode is very good in anything. Fantastic, I love it. Good times. Good times.